Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Samhasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. To chant Gita Dhyanam. Om Partaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grahitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaita Varshini Ava Bhagavati Adhyadya Shradyayani Nambatvam Anusandadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshini Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. So Bhagavan started teaching us Nididhyasanam after emphasizing Shravanam Mananam in the previous chapters. Then he is taking us through an elaborate process of Nididhyasanam, how to do meditation. And before that, actually, he gave us an idea of who is the meditator in the first 6 slokas. Then a detailed preparation steps, both external and internal preparation. Both are important. So he starts with the set of external preparations and then takes us into internal preparation. Again, we find in Bhagavad Gita a very detailed explanation. We have seen in some of the other scriptures and all mentioned, like Kaivalya Upanishad, the steps, whatever he is explaining in these 10 slokas, is there in one mantra. So it is there, but elaborately, Bhagavan takes us through this external as well as internal preparation. And that is up to sloka number 17. And then in 18 to 25, started explaining about the process of meditation. And what we are going to see today is the next couple of topics. What are the obstacles? What are the benefits of meditation? And what are the characteristics and vision of the realized master? So those are the couple of topics which we will see from 26 onwards. We were actually on 24 and 25, and we will go a little more detail in terms of analyzing the 24 and 25. But before that, let us do a quick recap on this process. So as we have seen in the 18th and 19th, he has explained who is the Yukta, who is the yogi, who is the one who is abiding in the self. And in the 19th, he gave an example, a simile, like a lamp. The lamp is, the flame is not disturbed when it is steady, when it is kept in a place where there is no wind. Like that, Yukta, his mind is also steady because it is not affected by the senses and the external um, disturbances, both in the mind as well as otherwise. So his mind is steady. So that point he gave. As always, Bhagavan, the style we have seen, he gives some benefits here and there, some motivation for us. Like, for example, the glory of yogi, he talked about in 7, 8, 9, before actually he took us through the preparation steps. And in the 15th also, he gave the benefit, flavor of it, that, ultimately you will be able to get liberated. And that promise he gave. And that, we'll be able to focus on in terms of the various steps, what we have to go through. So now in the process, once he has told us in 18th and 19th how yukta mind is, how steady it is, then what are the stages in which actually the process goes through. He takes us through the various stages, which we have seen in from 20 to 23. And then in 24 and 25, he tells us, the practice of concentration. How can we do that? Practice of concentration. So we'll quickly recap those slokas and then move on to the next one, topic, obstacles. From 20th to 23, these are all the stages, we can say, in the process of meditation. And of course, in each stage, he is highlighting the progress, what we can see. That way, we will be able to assess ourselves and move on to the next stage and so on. And of course, this is to logically structure our thought also, so that, we'll be able to understand Bhagavan's teaching and then practice it as we start our meditation, or we continue to do our meditation process. We can make it more effective. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati. Niruddham yoga sevaya. So here, by practice of meditation, niruddham yoga sevaya. Niruddham, by the restrained way, when he has actually withdrew the senses and then practicing the meditation, niruddham yoga sevaya. Then uparamet chittam. So he attains that quietude, uparamet. The quietude chittam, in the mind, he attains the quietude. And what is the result? Pashyannatmani tushyati. That way he is able to abide in the Atmani, in the self, in the Atma. He is able to abide in the self and tushyati, and he is satisfied that way. So he derives that satisfaction as he keeps practicing niruddham yoga sevaya. Yatro paramate chittam. So he is able to see, which means Pashyan means he is able to abide in Atmani and able to derive the satisfaction. So that is highlighted in that sloka 20. Then what happens? He remains established in that because he sees the satisfaction and in abiding in Atma by this constant practice. One thing we have to notice is that, each step, it will bring upon our intensity of focus and the time allotted and so on. It may take weeks, months, etc. So that we have to factor in. But the timeline, of course, depends. So in the 21st sloka, so he is talking about how he remains established in that, and he does not deviate from that. Jalati tatpadaha sthita Chalati Satvadaha, the last quarter. So why he is actually is established and is not moving away from that? Because that sukham, it is atyantika sukham. Sukham atyantikam tat. So buddhi grahaya atindriham. So having withdrawn the senses with the group of senses, indriya graham. So group of senses, all the senses, both organs of action as well as organs of perception, he has worked on it. That way, buddhi is actually well equipped now, subtle enough, because already buddhi has got the Shravanam, through Shravanam and Mananam, it has got enough lessons learned. His teachings are there in buddhi. And on top of it, when the organs of actions and organs of perceptions are withdrawn, then he is able to sthitas chalati tatvata. He is able to abide in that atyantika sukham, sukham atyantikam, and able to enjoy that. So that is the next stage. Then he moves on to the recognize that this is the highest gain. That is another outcome of this. As he starts practicing, and first he attains the quietude, and he enjoys the abiding in Atma. Then he sees that it is actually the Atyantika Sukham. Then in the 22nd sloka, he recognizes this is the highest gain. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate na adhikam tataha na adhikam tataha. There is no other actually gain other than this, but superior to this. So that he recognizes in the next stage, and that he feels na dukkena gurunapi vichalyate. So even the heaviest sorrow, he can actually handle it very easily. It doesn't become a dukkam for him. So that he recognizes at that stage. Then it goes to the 23rd sloka, where yoga, Bhagavan defines the other way also. The yoga is actually vihogam. Vihogam from where? Vihogam from the pain, from dukkham. So that disassociation from association with pain. We have been associated with pain for long. Now this yoga actually helps us to disassociate with that association of we had with pain. So tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangitam. So that point is highlighted in 23rd sloka. So this way, in these slokas, he takes us through the process step by step, and then the question will come: how can I concentrate? So that's where actually in 24 and 25, sankalpa prabhavan kaman tva sarvan sheshataha. So we've seen these two slokas also. We also saw Gurudev's video clip explaining about this sankalpa prabhavan kaman, this fanciful thoughts, desires that are coming out of our stored vasanas, which is getting fructified and triggered by some senses going somewhere or some thought going somewhere. And those fanciful thoughts, which actually are not your own inherent the thought, it is actually the thought that is manifested because of your hidden vasanas. So those sankalpa kama tektva. So you have to get rid of those and and that will help in terms of helping your mind to concentrate. And having that you, of course, you cannot be done overnight, and it cannot be done at one stroke. You cannot take it and cut it out. It's not possible. So you'll have to work on Shanai Ruparamet. So Shanai Ruparamet Buddhya Dhriti Grihitaya. So constantly, little by little, constantly we'll have to put effort in terms of getting rid of those sankalpa prabhavan kaman, and use your buddhi, which is actually very firm and with full of knowledge. What is the right knowledge? Because of your shravanam and mananam, use that, and then shanai you'll be able to abide, and that way kinjitapi chintayet. So at that stage, there is no other thought will come. Once you come to this stage, you will be able to abide atma samstam manaha. So you will be able to abide in the self. So that promise he is giving in the whole process of meditation. He has taken us through the various steps. Now, having elaborately dealt with the preparation and also the process, then he goes through the obstacles. Now, one thing, of course, we need to remember that the sadhaka gone through the Shravanam, Mananam as prescribed, in the previous chapters, and Nididhyasnam, Samadhi, is actually practiced with that knowledge what we acquired through Shravanam and which we have reflected in Mananam. So that we should remember. And also, as I was mentioning last time, this is the 6th chapter. So he assumes that, all those things, the bases are there. And for some of us who are not that familiar with the Vedanta, what is taught in Shravanam and Mananam, and of course, we'll touch upon at a very high level. But if one wants to go in detail, we can again go back and then go through some of those concepts so that it will be useful at the seat of meditation to assert, and we'll go through the process and benefit. Now, we're going to see the obstacles, and here Bhagavan actually takes only one sloka, and I put it as part 1 because we're going to visit some more of these obstacles again in the topic number 7, where Arjuna is going to have a question and answer session with the Lord. So there again, some more obstacles are going to be highlighted and how to tackle them and all that. But this itself is, is very elaborate. This one sloka is elaborately Bhagavan has given. And we'll also see some more details in, when we're talking about the 26. Then we'll go into 5th and 6th, where we are highlighting about the benefits. Some of it we have seen already. And then we'll go into characteristics of the realized master. So that's the plan. Now let's get into obstacle. And one sloka, and can you chant that, Uttam?
Yato yato nischarati manaschancalamassthiram tatos tato niyam yaitada atmanneva vasham nayat. Yato yato nischarati manaschancalamassthiram tatos tato niyam yaitada atmanneva vasham nayat.
Manas chanchalam asthiram. Sanchalam. Bhagavan says this mind is restless. Sanchalam. Well, we all can relate to that. Manas chanchalam. And asthiram. It is unsteady. We all know that. So Bhagavan is acknowledging that Yes, this mind is actually restless and unsteady. That is the major obstacle, right? And what he says, for whatever cause it wanders away. Yato nisharati. It wanders. For what it wanders, for whatever may be the reason it wanders, and let him, the meditator, bring it back, restrain it, and bring it back. We're going to see, of course, in detail. I'm just giving you the word meaning overview first. Tatho tatho niyam etat. Okay, bring it back and do what? And Atmani eva vasham nayet. So let him bring it back and rest it on Atma. Abide in Atma. So at the seat of meditation, we have to recognize this mind actually as the nature of restlessness, sanchalam. It is going to be unsteady. It is going to challenge me. And through these, the windows, what we have, the senses, the five senses, what we have, which is actually the connection to the outside world. Swami, one of the Swamijis, he calls it as mindos. They are the windows to the world from the mind. So mindos. So I think it is Ishwaranandaji. So he calls it as mindos. So through these mindos, it is bound to go out. Some of us studied in Siva Sankalpa Suktam. Yajjagrato duramutaiti daivam tatsusuptasya tataivaiti dhurangamam jyotisham jyotirekam tanme mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. Mind's nature, this is the mantra from Rig Veda. Rig Veda says, nature is like that. Ejjagrato duram utaiti daivam. So in the waking stage, it goes duram. It goes far away. We know how far it goes and how quickly it goes from one place to another place and all that. We're going to see a short clip from Gurudev. He very nicely dramatizes this. So we'll see that. So that is the nature of the mind, right? And in the deep sleep, when we are going to sleep, then the mind comes back and rests with us. So that is the nature. Dhurangamam jyotisham jyotirekam. That is the beauty of this Jyotisam Joshi. That Jyotisam Joshi, because the Jyoti is referred as all the five senses. Jyoti of that Jyoti is mind. And what we should do with this, given this nature of this mind, what we should do, we should fill it up with Shiva Sankalpa Sukta. The Shiva Sankalpa Sukta. Fill it up with auspicious. Send it out, fill it up with auspicious thoughts. When it comes back also in the night, before you go to sleep, fill it up with auspicious thoughts. Think of Lord. And then the mind will be ready to face wherever it is going. So similar concept. Bhagavan is putting very nicely here. So in the seat of meditation, at least we should actually exercise this task. Recognizing that mind is actually sanchalam and asthiram. That way, we should be able to bring it back. In Mahabharata also, there's a Vidura Niti, where Vidura tells Dhritarashtra. This is very nicely brought out by our Swami SRKJ as Ramakrishnanandaji about a couple of weeks ago in one of their short video clip. Beautiful. Is mind nature, it will go from one object to another object. The object may be a real object, or it may be person, or maybe a situation. From that object, you bring it back in the sense that you detach from that object. And when you detach from that object, the mind comes back because, you no longer want to, keep that thought. When you see the weather is so good, then immediately the mind goes, oh, the golf courses will be nice to go around this time. So immediately, you should cut it off and bring it back. That way, you will be able to control your mind, bring it back, and then Bhagavan says, Atmani eva Vashamnayet. So put it back in the Atman. So that point is highlighting. So we should be able to bounce back when the mind goes. And that bouncing back, is further elaborate. Of course, as I said, Bhagavan has given the most important thing in terms of the controlling the mind. But there are other aspects also to be taken care so that we'll be able to do this bounce back easily, right? The other external things also we need to take care. And also we need to, outside of seat of meditation, we need to work on our mind so that, it is ready for bouncing back when we exercise that. So, and that is categorized, in 4 different buckets. Sleep. This is a common thing we all come across when we take the seat of meditation. Lie up, they obviously, that's the best time, and it is so calm outside, and mind is now thinking that, yeah, he is given she given the complete environment for me. Of course, I'm not lying down, but I'm sitting erect and all that. But even then, I know I can take over. So mind actually goes into the temptation of sleep. This is the most common, especially, in the group meditation and all that, you would have experienced this. Some of the folks actually, having sound sleep. So, and especially when the lights are all dim and so on. So this is a very common factor. So now, of course, how do we tackle this? I have enough rest, especially before going to meditation. Make sure that you have enough rest. That way sleep doesn't take over. That way the tiredness doesn't take over. Then Vedanta Sara says, Vikshepa. Vikshepa is another category, the distraction, and obviously, there will be enough distractions available for us, in terms of the seat of meditation, especially those things and all come into our mind, whether it's good golf course or, now Costco should be open, before everybody comes in there, I should go and get some milk so that, I can maintain the social distancing, whatever, all these kind of thoughts come, at the seat of meditation. So that is Vikshepa. Then the third thing, what is known as Kashaya, that is actually the impressions what are stored in our subconscious mind, that slowly starts coming up, especially at the seat of meditation. All those thoughts, especially the things what you already experienced and were very happy at that time, and that experience actually pops up now. Oh, how nice it was, and hence I should be able to experience it again, once again. So that again, as a vasana, the tendency manifests, and then comes as a strong like, so no, I should do this actually immediately after this, get out of this seat of meditation. I should take up my clubs and then go to golf course. And especially now nobody will be there, so I can something like that. So and you can imagine, all kinds of impressions of what is buried in us, and you will experience this, and definitely everybody goes through this. But we'll have to be alert. And also the fourth category is enjoyment. After some weeks or months of meditation at the seat of meditation, we start enjoying that environment, in the sense that it's a nice place where we can be seated calmly, and then we can go through in our mind all the to-do list, what we should do today and also the next month, because there's no other disturbance, and people are all thinking that I'm meditating, let me work on you start enjoying that, and then because of that you start going to that place and having the meditation session more and more, not because you want to really meditate, but that also should be avoided. That's aswadaha. So that is the fourth category. So of course, there are a lot of details about this, from other scriptures also, from other texts. But I just gave you a brief in terms of Bhagavan. Of course, at a very high level, he talks about, bring the mind back. But to bring the mind back, where the mind goes, could be because of any one of this or more. And key thing is to recognize that mind is capable of being distracted like this in various ways like this, and then bring it back so that we can bounce back. So with this, let's quickly see Gurudev's clip. Let me just okay, great.
Thing. Just as when driving the car, the wheels have got it is in nature to go to the right and left, but you have to see and anticipate and keep it straight on the road. It's called driving. In the same way, it is the nature of the human mind that it skips from object to object by association of ideas. When the mind is thus tripping away, derailing from the direction in which you have set the mind to contemplate, even the time it has derailed, immediately, if you can bring it back again, you are successful. You yield it, in no time it will go round the world. Krishna, 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 suddenly you remember, where is that Krishna Murti now? Mr. Krishna Murti. Then you remember that the rascal took away some money and is not yet returned. Now only I remember. These are all will come, memories will come at the puja time. Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti, when you are remembering and he is a rascal, he has not given me the money, I must meet him, I must fold him up. Then you remember that. But however, his brother, that Krishnan, is very nice. That Gopal is very nice. Very intelligent. He is in the foreign department. I don't know where he is. Last I heard was he has come to New York in our embassy. New York. But these Americans, they are third rate nowadays. Russians. Russians, you know that whole Africa is under the influence of Russian philosophy. But the South Africa, and that iron girl in London. Now you have gone round the world, isn't it? Started with Krishna, Krishna, and the Krishna is standing there to bless you. But you have gone. You are sitting for prayer. Whether it is Jesus or a Kaaba, or whether it is a Buddha or is it a Krishna, the contemplative student's human mind behaves the same everywhere. This is his nature. Now when I am saying Krishna, Krishna, and then I remember Krishnamurti, not now, after my prayer. Is it? You must immediately collect orals from Krishnamurti to Gopal, Gopal to New York, New York to Russia, Russia to Africa, Africa to London, from London to Europe or Middle East, Middle East to Saddam, Saddam to India, and the poor Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister was shot, was killed. And then suddenly you remember I'm sitting for prayer. Therefore you open your eyes and say, Krishna, today's prayer is wonderful. And now bless me. Think.
So that was a beautiful way of dramatizing how the mind goes all over if we don't control, and the beginning itself. And how actually Gurudev gives a clue also. The moment he goes, the mind goes, starts going out, just immediately cut it out, and that way it is easier to control it. Now, having seen the obstacles, now let's get into the benefits of meditation. There are a couple of slokas, 27 and 28, and we've seen, one of the slokas, or in some other slokas also benefits were there, but mainly 6:15, the 15th sloka, when we were about to start the preparation, part 2, that time also we saw this, the benefit, where Bhagavan says, Injan evam sadatmanam yogi niyata manasaha Santim nirvana paramam matsamstam adhigacchati. So there, when the mind is balanced, yogi with that controlled mind, he attains immense peace, and he abides in me, which actually culminates in ultimate liberation. So that benefit, we already saw. We'll see 2 other slokas, 27 and 28, which again, Bhagavan highlights the benefits. Now, 27, can you chant?
Prashantamanasam yenam yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti santarajasam brahmabhutam akalmasham. Prashantamanasam yenam yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti santarajasam brahmabhutam akalmasham.
Enam yoginam uttamam sukham upaiti. Somewhere in the middle of the first line. Enam yoginam uttamam sukham upaiti. That uttamam sukham, here actually Bhagavan is saying is uttamam sukham. If you remember in the 21st sloka or so, he mentioned sukham atyantikam. He's giving all superlative status to this sukham, because this is the absolute happiness. So, and it is not coming in the category of our normal sukham, what we normally experience, which is gradable, right? That sukham, what we are day-to-day basis experiencing, is gradable. It can be a sukham of drinking a filter coffee in the morning, or for me at least, or some of us tea, or to tasting ice cream, or enjoying a cake or whatever. So those are all gradable, right? There's a gradation also defined in our literature. But this particular thing is beyond all those gradation. It is uttamam sukham. That uttamam sukham, that supreme bliss, it comes to who? Enam yoginam, to that yogi who is prashanta manasam, who is actually mind is in tranquil. So after a period of meditative sessions, once he has actually excelled in that, then obviously his mind becomes tranquil, and that yogi, supreme bliss comes to him. Bhagavan actually here, one thing we need to notice is yogi is not attaining that bliss. He is not going to that bliss. Actually, supreme bliss comes to him. The subject and object is changed here. That's a uniqueness of this sloka. Normally the subject is the yogi, right? And the object is the happiness. But here, that supreme happiness, supreme bliss comes to him. Well, in the words we can describe only like this, but actually it is there already. He was actually in his true nature, supreme bliss, absolute happiness. It is his true nature. It comes to him means that he is able to now remove all those ignorance, all this veiling, so that he is able to see that supreme happiness, abide in that supreme happiness, enjoy that. So that is the way actually, Bhagavan puts it, supreme bliss comes to him. And we can talk about this a little more also. The Jnani, for example, we take any of the Mahatmas, how they work in this world versus how we work. We work very hard and then attain success, whether it's financial success or relationship success or whatever success. We work very hard, attain success, and as a result of that, we derive happiness. Right? That is normally the path actually we all follow. But Mahatmas, for them, it is the other way. They work out of happiness. They are already in supreme bliss. And out of that supreme bliss, they work hard and then get success. Right? And hence, there's always prasada buddhi. And it says that, because they're already in supreme bliss and working out of happiness, and of course, they are putting their full effort and success will come. But whatever it comes, there is success for them because they are already in that. So here, Bhagavan emphasizes that, to that yogi, enam yoginam, uttamam sukham upaiti, it comes to him, who for prashanta manasam, and then of course santarajasam, agitations are all quietened. He already took care of the tamas part of it by controlling the sleep and other things and all that. And rajas also is worked on it. Now it's all full sattva, santarajasam. Then akalmasham. So there is no purities in him. There are no impurities in him. It's all pure, free from all sin. And that way, he is Brahma Bhuta. So he is become one with Brahman. So that Bhagavan brings out that concept that, those yogis who are actually prasanta manasam, santarajasam, supreme bliss comes to him, and he becomes one with Brahman. So that is the benefit actually is highlighting here. And 28 also in similar way. Can we chant that?
Unjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantyam shukamashnute. Unjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantyam shukamashnute.
Yunjan evam sadatmanam. Sadatmanam. Constant practice. Again, this sadatmanam, we'll have to be careful. It's not all the 24 hours he's in the altar doing meditation. But at the same time, when he does this meditation for whatever the time, in the morning, in the evening, and during the slot, what he's done, that ensures him to be in that meditative state throughout the rest of the time. Injan evam sadatmanam, engaging in the mind in the constant practice. So, vigata kalmashaha. So he gets rid of all the impurities. And what happens? He atyantam sukham anushite. So he gets that absolute happiness because he is in contact with or recognizing that with Brahman. Like what Bhagavan has highlighted in the previous sloka, same concept is actually highlighted here to emphasize the point that he is having that, attains that absolute happiness. Here, Bhagavan puts it the other way. That is, he goes back to the normal mode. The yogi is the subject and attains the absolute happiness. So if we put both these two slokas together, then one message that comes out is that absolute happiness is there always. It is that actually, sometimes, from the angle of from us, when we look at it, after we get rid of all this ignorance and so on, we attain that. We abide in that. And the other way, the supreme happiness is there all the time, because the Brahman is there. And once you purify yourself, then that happiness comes to you, in the sense that it is there already. You recognize that, you abide in that. So those two benefits, main takeaway from these two is immense benefit. The ultimate benefit, what one can think of, the yogi gets it. Okay. Now, next 4 slokas go together, but let's do one by one. And we have about 15 minutes or so before we should be able to see that. And the thought process is, connected with these 4 slokas. First, it talks about the self. The yogi looks at from self. Then the second sloka talks about God. In Vedantic parlor, Tvampada, Tatpada. Tvampada is about you. Then Tatpada is about that. Then there's something called Mahavakya, those who have not heard this before. Some of you, of course, have studied. Mahavakya, great statement. Tattvam Asi, that you are. You are that. So that is highlighted in this next 3 slokas. And the 4th one, 32, he talks about how yogi, then this yogi having reached that state, how he deals with the world, how he looks at the world, how he lives in this world. And that is highlighted in the 4th sloka. So let us see those 29 to start with.
Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga-yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga-yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha.
Ikshate yoga yuktatma. So the one who is actually disciplined like this, the yogi, ikshate, he sees what? Sarva bhutastamam atmanam. Sarva bhutastamam. He sees in all the Atma. He sees the self in all beings. He sees that the same Atma consciousness, existence consciousness, is there in all beings. The existence has to be there, and that's why all the other beings are there, existing. And they are beings, and that means they are conscious. So when I look at myself, go inward, beyond this body, mind, intellect complex, what do I see? I exist and I am conscious. That self is same in all other beings also, because all other beings also exist and they are conscious. So, Sarva Bhutatma Atmani. Atmanam. Then Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. He also sees that all beings are in the self. All the beings are, existing. Existence is the substratum on which all the beings are there. I'll take one example shortly, but just digest this, what Bhagavan says at the word level. So, second quarter, first line, Sarva Bhutani Chatmani Cha Atmani. All beings are in the self. The first one is the self is in all beings. The second one is all beings are in the self. And that is the vision of sameness, oneness, the yogi has got in all. Now, let's understand a little bit. Because those who studied Vedanta, Shravanam, Mananam and all that, you'll be able to relate it easily. But those who are getting introduced, let me take one example and then come back again. Let's take the waves in the ocean. Now, wave 1 and wave 2 and wave 3, etc. They're all beings, right? They have different names and forms. I'm having my own name and my own form, and I'm a man, woman. My name is this, and etc., etc. And similarly, wave 2 is there. Now, the essence of all these waves is water, the H2O, that water. So, yogi, when he goes inward, he identifies himself with that essence. That is the self. That is the existence and consciousness. And then when the wave 1 looks at wave 2, without this knowledge, then it looks at only the name and the form. Oh, that is called wave 2. Oh, that is bigger than me. Oh, that wave 2 has got much more force compared to me. And he's coming towards me. No, I am afraid. All these things comes when the wave 1 identifies with the name and form of itself with the name and form of wave 2. But on the other hand, if wave 1 is able to see my essence is water, and wave 2 also the essence is water, then we're able to see the oneness. The self in me is there in all beings. That is the first quarter or the first line. Sarva Bhutas Samatmana. Then all beings are in the water. All the waves are in the water. Water is the substratum for all the waves. So existence is there for all beings. Then only they can exist. So that point is coming out in the second quarter of the first line. All beings are in self. So that's oneness. When it is the essence, at the essence level, when yogi looks at it, he sees only the oneness in all. That point is brought out in 29. Now, this is about the self. Now, what about God? What about Paramatma? That is there in the next sloka, in 30.
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति.
You see a similar characteristics of the previous one. From God, Paramatma is saying that Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra. So, person who sees me everywhere. Sarvam cha Mahi Pashyati. And he sees everything in me. So I'm not able, that person Yeah, he's not different from me. And he never gets separated from me. He is one with me. He is same as me. Now let's expand this. Let's take this similar example. Wave, this time the wave and the ocean. The one who sees me everywhere. And ocean, what is the essence? Water again. The one who sees water everywhere, even though it appears to be a ocean, name and form, the essence is water. And the second line, Sarvamcha Mai Pashyati, and sees water in the ocean. Water is the substratum. That is the essence. So water is there as essence, and he sees that everywhere. And he sees everything. Everything here is actually the ocean, the wave, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. All these things are in me, in that essence, in that water only. So water is the essence. Similarly, you can extend this to gold and gold ornaments and several examples, the clay and the clay pot 1, clay pot 2, or jar 1, jar 2, etc., or electricity is the substratum, and fan, lights, etc., different names and forms like that. You can think of different examples, but you get the idea that at the essence, the God existence and consciousness and the yogi existence and consciousness, they are same. That asi part is what we need to take it away from here. And then the assurance is that one who sees this, one is able to see at the essence level the sameness, then he is same as me. I am in him. So that the takeaway from these two slokas, which is summarized very nicely in the next sloka.
सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मम भजत एकत्वमस्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजते एकत्वमस्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते
Sarva bhuta sthita yomam ekatvam asthitah bhajati. Ekatvam, that oneness. One, he sees that oneness. Once he is asthitaha, once he attains that, is bhajati. Bhajati is actually, you can say not the regular bhajan and all that. It's bhajati is worships, he adores, he abides. Bhajati. That once he actually, he sees that ekatvam, that oneness, then he abides in me. Who is me? I am the one who dwells in all beings, including him also, as essence. And that yogi abides in me. And that yogi, in his name and form, with his instrument, what he has got, body, mind, intellect, he may be doing several things. He may be actually, in Himalayas in a cave, or he may be actually wandering in the forest, or he may be actually doing service to humanity, loka sangraha, or he may be actually, meditating all the time. Whatever maybe he may be doing in using his instrument, but he is always abiding in me and I am in him. Whatever may be his mode of living, that doesn't matter. He may be a king like Janak Maharaj, or it may be a Mahatma like or the Paul Maharaj in Himalayas, or he may be a Mahatma like our Chinmayananda ji, who came down to the plains, and in that yogi state, he was actually doing Loka Sangraha and spreading all the knowledge. But at that stage, they are all actually don't have anything of their own. It is actually the God working through them and using that instrument to do whatever they are doing. In whatever mode they are living, he is in me and I am in him. I am in all are in me. That is a very famous statement, which some of the Upanishads actually explicitly state. In fact, this sloka 29, some of you studied Kaivalya Upanishad. It is mantra number 10, a slightly modified version of the mantra number 10 in Kaivalya Upanishad. So like that, in most of the Upanishads it appears. So it also, these three slokas highlight about Tattvamasi, that you are that, Tattvamasi. So those main takeaway here is, this is how the vision of the yogi is, the oneness, and he knows that he is actually one with the Brahman, and with that sameness he acts in the world. And how he acts in the world, next sloka 32 please.
आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः
आत्मौपम येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति. Atmaupam yena sarvatra samam pashyati. With that oneness, he sees actually the sameness in all. In all, whether it is pleasure or pain, sukham va yadi va dukham. Whether it is sukham or dukham, he sees the same oneness as himself. Means that when somebody is actually enjoying, he is also enjoying equally. He is able to relate to that. And when somebody is actually suffering, he is also able to share that suffering with the same pain as what the others are going through. And whether it is sukham or dukham, he is putting himself in their shoes and then expressing as if it is happening to his own instrument. That way, actually, he acts with this world. I mean, we see this, in when we deal with, when we interact with, or when we are with Mahatmas. There are enough opportunities to relate to this kind of way they interact with the world. Excitement, yeah, of course they are there to share. We have seen a number of Gurudev's instances also, where he goes to Bhiksha and how he enjoys the pleasure, and at the same time somebody is actually having some pain, how he shares the pain, etc., etc. And also how they deal with the situations, deal with the people. You can see 100% one with that particular situation or with that person in terms of sharing the pain or pleasure. So that is how they react to this world, and they become one with that person whom they are dealing with, or one with the situation. And that compassionate state is very well demonstrated when we watch these Mahatmas, how they do, and we have to learn a lot from them. So that is demonstrated in this sloka very nicely. And, we just want to share one experience. In our ashram, we are there for 25 months or so. People from different walks of life come from different parts of the world. And it's all, within that campus for 25 months with no access to Wi-Fi, TV, online, whatever. Just from 4:30, 4 o'clock, bell rings from 4:30 onwards, you're on till 10 o'clock all together, and different ages, different background. And very soon, within 6-7 months, the kashaya starts coming up, what we're seeing, in one of the things, impressions, the buried vasanas. And the honeymoon period is over, and people are all, getting to know each other in different ways. And managing this 100 people, Mahatmas, how they deal with it, it is amazing to watch. No HR department in the best corporate world can actually do such kind of work. I mean, every situation that comes up, or the conflicts that comes up, which are likely to come up, especially in the after 6-7 months, 6 to 12 months, they are resolved so perfectly, and you can see the compassionate approach in all those problem solving. So it is just amazing, and this sloka it reflects that. And of course they reflect what Bhagavan says in this sloka in the day-to-day application. And it's nice to watch and learn also. So with this, actually we are concluding on the 6th topic also, obstacles, benefits, and characteristics. And then next session, we have 2 more sessions. We have a very interesting next session where now that Bhagavan has finished his teaching, he opens it up for question and answer from Arjuna. So Arjuna actually starts asking questions. By this time, actually, Bhagavan has given him so much of information, and what Arjuna feels that, yeah, it is all nice, sounds very good on the book, but is it practical? And I'm sure most of us are also thinking, is it that practical to apply it? So Arjuna comes up with that question first, and then builds up on that question, various other questions also. So we will see what are the questions what Arjuna is asking and how Bhagavan is answering, and that we will see in the next session, and also some concluding messages what Bhagavan gives, that we will see in the final session. And so that way we'll be able to complete it in the next 2 sessions or so. So with this, let me formally close, then we'll open it up for question answer and also discuss some of those points. Sarvakam. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.